Back at y'all with another live, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive night. I hope you had a great day overall, man. I'm back at y'all with some more boxing talk on the road to 4K. We're about to hit that mid, what would you say? That mid 3K mark. You know what I mean? About to be on the way to the 3,100 mark. About to hit that 4K mark in due time. Shout out to the nation in the mind for making this possible. We got some things that we currently need to discuss. We're going to talk about Jake Paul cracking, pause, the WBA rankings. Floyd Schofield being officially ranked #1 in the WBA. Norman versus Haney. And of course, we're going to get into some open boxing topics. You feel what I'm saying? But before we get into that, man, if y'all can go ahead and hit the like button as soon as y'all come in, that'll be very much appreciated. You see what I'm saying? I already see a bunch of comments in the building. I'm highly appreciative of everybody that's coming through and supporting. Of course, Forever Dedicated with the first comment of the day. He says, salute, Mazuma. How was your day? Regular day, brother. I had to leave work early to attend to some issues with the wifey. You know what I mean? I had some little tire issues. You know what I mean? I had to be the man that I was, take care of her car, all that shit. Got my son. You know what I mean? We had a great sparring day today at Pivot Boxing Academy, man. Just getting my fighters ready for their dates. They fight dates, of course. Then I came home, kicked it with my son, you know what I mean? Put him down. So, you know, we chilling. You see what I'm saying? Now I'm on live talking to y'all. I mean, I hope everybody's doing well. Philly says, somebody by the name of Philly stand up 445. Mazuma TV is where you want to be. First of all, 445 ain't even, is that even an area code in Philadelphia? What is that? Yeah, I never heard of 445 being like an area code in Philadelphia. That must be something new. As far as I'm concerned, it's 215 or 267. So I don't know if you knew around here or you trolling or what, but yeah, I mean, that's already a little shaky in my opinion. Simba Boxing, what up? He says, Yo, Mazuma, Javonte Davis was seen on Twitter today making fun of someone dead brothers. Does this type of stuff surprise you? Because there's kids that look up to him and he's not setting a great example. I'm not surprised at all. When has Javonte Davis ever shown to be a role model to the youth? You know what I mean? I can see how he could be an inspiration considering where he came from, you know, what he's become since then. You know what I mean? And, you know, his background and all that stuff. I can see how he could be an inspiration for those who come from impoverished neighborhoods out in Baltimore, or any, you know, impoverished area, you know, in the world. However, when has he ever shown to be a role model? Not everybody's a role model. And I think people need to, and this ain't me shitting on Javonte Davis' character. I don't know him personally. I just know what he does in boxing. Might be a great person. I don't know. But I think that we need to stop acting like because somebody's like on a high level of like a sport or, you know, whatever the case is, that they automatically are role models. You know what I mean? Not everybody fits that mold. I'll tell you right now, I don't consider myself a role model. I'm not. I feel like for you to be a role model, you gotta do everything correct. It's a lot of pressure on you know, individuals, you know, when they're considered like this role model. There's a lot of good things I do well. You know what I mean? Like I take care of my kid, I stay out of the streets. You know what I mean? I'm a non-confrontational, non-violent type of person. You know what I'm saying? And I take care of the people around me. So I could see how I could be considered that. But at the same time, you know what I mean, there's also things that I need to tighten up on and get better as a human being because it's not I don't set a good example in certain departments in life. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm not going to judge Javonte Davis. I know he had his legal issues and stuff like that, and I see him venting about that as well. Um, and you know, things of that nature. But I'm not necessarily surprised, and I don't think you should be either. You know, not everybody is a role model, and not everybody's looking to be, you know, the kid's role model. You know what I'm saying? So it's up to the parents, in all honesty, to be the role model for their kids, not somebody who put on some boxing gloves that they don't even know. You see what I mean? So that's just my personal opinion. Marlon, what up? Smoochie, what's going on, Smoochie? Coffee plant, what up? Slime in the building. I ain't see you in a couple days, brother. I hope everything's well. Asia 86. Yeah, I seen Tank. He shot some shots at somebody who, you know, lost family members and stuff like that. But you know, that's Javonte Davis just being a tough guy. You know what I'm saying? That's what Javonte Davis wants to give off like this, like tough guy, you know, vibe so bad. Like he always sending threats to people, random people on social media, talking about he gonna send people to pull up on you and like all this crazy stuff. Like, bro, like if you really bought that shit that you be talking about, like you wouldn't have to send niggas. Niggas who send niggas to do shit for them, that's not bullshit. That's bitch shit. You see what I mean? If you ain't on the front line with your mans, then you pussy. That's one of my favorite quotes from Gilly the Kid. If you're not on the front line with your man, you pussy. You know what I mean? Like if shit really that serious, like if you really want to make an example out of somebody, you go do that shit yourself. You know what I mean? You thinking that's some bullshit whole time. You fucking throwing rocks and hiding your hand ass nigga. That shit ain't cool. You feel me? Ain't never been a time where I had a situation in front of me and then I just sent somebody else to go do it for me. No. You asked to see the boss, so they sent me, dog. Fuck is you talking about? But anyways, yeah, making fun of the dead, not cool. That never been gangster. That never been, you know what I mean? Shit that should be, even said publicly. And that's just a new thing with this new generation. People in my age group, kids, people younger than me, they think it's cool to like go to people's graves and disrespect. Like y'all wasn't raised right, bro. Y'all really wasn't raised right. I mean, there's certain shit you don't play with, but apparently everything you can play with everything nowadays. Pause. You can make fun of anything. You can make fun of anybody. You could disrespect anybody. You know what I mean? Like niggas is this world different. Cause I ain't grow up in this world. Cause yeah. So I mean, that's just my take on it. I don't like when um I don't like when dudes try to why like even and this the thing. Let's say Tank did come from that. Let's say Tank did come from that. Let's say he was a bona fide street nigga. Let's just say like he was out here really giving the ops hell and all. Let's just say that is the situation, bro. You not there no more. You've elevated. You've evolved. You've outgrown your city. You made it to a point in life that 99.9% of people that you grew up with are not gonna go. Like that's how successful you are in life. Why continue to bring that energy around you? You talk about you want to go to therapy and you want to fix yourself and you want to change for your daughters but you continuously doing nut shit like this. People don't understand how important energy is, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a point in time where I was moving very chaotically. Like I was doing negative things impulsively. I fucked over some good people growing up in terms of like, not like friends, but people that I was dealing with, relationship wise. And I personally believe that as a result of me moving so foul, that karma got back to me. And I gotta deal with it for the rest of my life. You see what I'm saying? So don't put things out in the world that should don't put certain energy out into the world because you know that should have come right back to you. You feel what I'm saying? And that's coming from somebody who experienced it personally. Damn. Learn from me, y'all. I wasn't knocking out fiends in Kensington. I was knocking out fiends in the Badlands. Allegedly. No, I'm not. I'm not even talking about criminal stuff. I'm not. You know what I mean? And if I was a criminal, I would never say that on the internet. That's the difference between me and a lot of these other people. What I'm saying is like how I was moving in relationships. You see what I'm saying? Like how I was like I had like people that was good to me. You know what I'm saying? And I did them completely foul. And as a result, what did I end up with? Somebody who was moving foul and did me dirty in multiple situations. I can't like the universe always pays you back. The universe never forgets, y'all. Never that. Never that. Your son or daughter might move that way. Your son or daughter might move that way. With what blick you carry, that's crazy. Man, my girl can't tell me. I could speak on whatever experience I want because those experiences I had was before I even met her. So it don't even matter, Smoochy. That's that insecure shit. Let me find out you one of them. But anyways, the universe never forgets. It remembers all the good things you've done in your life, It remembers all the bad things you've done in life. And you'll be paid, and karma will attend to you accordingly. You'll have good karma that's come to your life as a result of doing good things. You'll have bad karma your way considering the bad things that you've done in your life. You ever had a day where you're like, man, where the fuck? Like, why is all this good shit happening to me? Like, why is that? Why is all this good shit happening to me? That's good karma based off of the good things that you've done in your life. That good karma could come the next day. It could come 5 years later from now. You never know. Yo, these niggas wild. But you might have a day where shit just not going well. You having bad things happen to you back to back to back to back to back. That's bad karma. The universe always pays, is always there to pay, is always there to collect. That's just how we move. And so I said all of that shit to say, Tank, and I know you're not watching because you don't give a fuck about your boxer fans. So why the fuck would you give a fuck about a boxer fan YouTube, right? But what I'm gonna say is, because you crying that shit not going your way and bad things keep happening to you, yet you keep doing bad shit. You know what I mean? Like disrespecting the dead and calling people all types of shit. And bro, it's unnecessary, bro. You know what I mean? You keep putting negative energy out there and you wondering why negative shit keep happening to you. You gotta learn how to move correctly, brother. Not everything deserves your attention and not everything deserves a negative reaction. Trust me, I'm learning that. So good little lesson today. Good little lesson today. But anyways, which topic y'all want to talk about first, man? Y'all want to talk about Jake Paul uh officially getting placed in the WBA rankings? Y'all want to talk about Floyd Schofield being #1 in the WBA? Norman versus Haney, what we talking about first? I kind of want to save Norman versus Haney for the end, of course, because I think that's the most exciting topic to talk about as of right now. Especially after doing further research and watching a little bit more film. I feel like I have a stronger assessment on both of these guys fighting. You said skip Jake Paul. I mean, I would, but it's a relevant conversation because now we got somebody in Jake Paul who's been called a YouTube boxer. He's pretty much finessed the system. Fighting guys who in fights that shouldn't even been sanctioned. Whether it's a 60-year-old. What? Yo, wait, we got another picture, y'all. We got another picture, y'all. Hold on, let me take a picture of this one too. I'm gonna just start collecting these motherfuckers. Hold on, hold on. Yo, look how many screenshots they got of me. Hold on. I had to get that one. I had to take a picture of that one. I had to take a picture of that one. That shit is hilarious. How he knows Coffee Plant? Because Coffee Plant get just as much recognition as Mazuma TV in the comments, bro. Niggas hate Coffee Plant. They hate him. That's my fucking guy, bro. If I was to ever meet you in person, brother, you just know you a good friend of mine. I fuck with Coffee Plant heavy. Um, Laquan Edwards said, "Can Jake actually compete? You think? I mean, he has been. Regardless of technically he is competing. He's getting in the ring with other individuals and he's beating them. But he's been finessing the game. You know what I mean? Whether he started off, I think his pro debut was an NBA player, Nate Robinson. Old retired MMA fighters like Ben Askren and Nate Diaz and Anderson Silva. You know what I mean? He went through his little MMA era and shit like that. And now he's fighting guys who, former world champions or old retired world champions and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So, being able to do what he's done and getting in the WBA rankings is crazy to me. But we gotta understand, and I hate to say this as a speaking from a fan's perspective, but boxing is a business, right? And when we look over the cruiserweight divisions, how many genuine stars can you say are in the cruiserweight division right now? Because these sanctioning bodies, they love making money off of stars in the sport of boxing. That's why these sanctioning bodies, besides the IBF, they ain't never try to press Canelo. You know what I mean? You don't see the WBA pressing Javonte Davis. You like you don't see these things. You know what I'm saying? So considering that, the WBA, they want to get their money just like the WBC do. They want to get their money just like the WBO do. All these motherfuckers are in it for a check. They get a certain percentage of these guys' purses. They saying Jake Paul make between $30 to $40 million a fight, from what I understand. I don't know his numbers. I don't pocket watch. But that's just the shit that I hear. You feel what I mean? So considering that, why wouldn't they want to take between 1% to 3% of $30 million every time Jake Paul step in the ring? You better believe that the WBA wants nothing more than to have that belt around Jake Paul's waist, y'all. Y'all gotta believe that. If y'all don't believe that, then y'all fools. I'm sorry. Like you think these sanctioning bodies like, oh man, we'll give this, we'll happily, man, we don't care about Jake Paul having this belt. They can't say that because they put him in the rankings after fighting, a washed up ass former world champion who hasn't been shit in over a decade in Chavez Jr. Then this man fought a 58-year-old Mike Tyson, pushing 60 years old, and they sanctioned the fight. So he comes off of those two fights, and that's what makes him crack the top 15 in the WBA? Are you fucking serious? G tatted up 215. What up? Talking about he love the beard. Man, pack him, please. The coffee, where the wrench at? Jesus Christ. That's that motherfucking Caitlyn Jenner shit. We don't get into that. Smoochie and coffee smacked him. Salute. But nah, for real though, like, those two fights, that's what you're gonna do. Those are the fights that you're gonna go off of. Huh? I don't understand that question, Jermaine, but regardless, what? Crazy, pack him. Yeah, we got some weird shit going on. Nigga said speak English. But nah, yo, for real though. Those are the two fights that Jake Paul has taken part in, as of recently. And because of that, I mean, the WBA feels like that's, I guess credible enough to be a part of their sanctioning body. You see what I mean? So considering the fact that, the cruiserweight division doesn't have like, Jai Overtime, Beast, Gilberto Ramirez, he's nice as well. You know what I mean? There's some talent in that division. Let's not get it fucked up. Let's not get it misconstrued. Even Badu Jack, you know what I mean? With him being older, he's still thriving in the cruiserweight division. You know what I'm saying? After coming from as low as like 168 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So, there's some good, talented guys in the weight class, but there's a difference between being talented and being a star. And Jake Paul, considering the following that he has and him continuously being in big events that's being showcased on Netflix, and even before he had to deal with Showtime and stuff like that, he brings a lot of attention to the sport. The WBA recognizes that. They understand, and they've heard that Jake Paul wants to fight for a world title. So, of course, they want to be the first ones to open that avenue up for Jake Paul, because if they're able to get a strap around if they're able to get a WBA belt around Jake Paul's waist, they understand that that's going to come with a nice little check after the fight. It's really that simple. Go ahead. I mean, look, y'all could do. Let's look at 3% of 30 million. Let's say Jake Paul makes $30 million. Like I said, I don't know what he makes, but let's do the math. Let's do the math, y'all. 30%, 0.3 times. That's $9 million, yo. Wait, hold up. I'm tripping. That's $9 million. No, wait, I'm sorry. That's 30%. I'm tripping. See, that's how you know I ain't go to school in a long time. Um, that's 900,000. Sorry. Not 9 million. I did 30% instead of 3%. 3% of 30 million is $900,000. That's a nice little check. That's a nice little check. And all they doing is put a belt up. That's a nice little check. If he's making 40 million, I think that's 1.2. Look at that. $1.2 million. You think they don't you think they don't want that? You think they don't want that? Like, come on. Even if they getting 1% of $40 million, $400,000. 1% of 40 million is $400,000. You can eat. If you got Jake Paul fighting 3 times a year, you gonna eat. If he making 40 million 3 times, that's $120 million. You getting 1.2 million off of 3 fights if you just getting 1% of his pay. Like, that's great money. And that's not even taking into consideration all the other champions that you making money off of. You know what I'm saying? So this shit is a business. Of course they want Jake Paul to be champion, because if Jake Paul becomes champion, and I'm sure they're gonna do whatever they can to put him in position, it's gonna come with some funds that, you know, is gonna be a lot heavier than what they'll get from a Jai Opatai or a fucking Badu Jack, you know, whoever. Nobody in the cruiserweight division is generating the money that Jake Paul makes. So does it feel morally right to us as boxing fans? No, not at all. You know what I mean? Because we feel like Jake Paul don't deserve it. And the reality is he doesn't. However, the way the business of boxing is set up and the way business is set up, period, morals and business, they rarely, you know, are equal in situations. And I was just talking about it with my homie Reed earlier. In order to be successful in business, a lot of the time you might have to go against your morals. Like, you know, morally this shit ain't right, but you have to do it in order to get to the next level. Like Jay-Z, look how many niggas he done snaked in the music business. And look at where he's at. We done heard about P. Diddy taking motherfuckers publishing and all types of shit. You know what I mean? And he was at the top of the music industry. You know, I done heard shit about Suge Knight hanging motherfuckers off of balconies and shit like that. And to have his way in the music industry, he was a bully on the West Coast. And look at how far he got during his era. Don King, he's usually, I mean, all these promoters snakes, to be honest with you, like Chris Eubank Jr. said. But Don King, he's pretty much the face of corrupt promoters because, you know, he's black. You feel what I'm saying? But and I say that because you can't name a promoter in boxing who hasn't fucked the fighter over. You know what I mean? But Don King, they said he done snaked a lot of people out of bread, stole money from fighters, and scraped bread off the top of their paychecks and stuff like that. But look how far it got Don King during his era. You know what I mean? So this is just a reminder that morals and boxing don't really go hand in hand most of the time. It's very rare, actually, if that does happen. You know what I mean? Shout out to the boy Agent 86. He said, I'll do the same shit if I was the WBA. I'll make sure Jake Paul fights bums until he runs into someone who beat his ass. This is the thing, right? Because from what I understand, Gilberto Ramirez has a WBA title right now at cruiserweight. Cool. Can Jake Paul beat a Gilberto Ramirez? Do you think that he's going to fight for the WBA next? I don't think so. I genuinely believe that Jake Paul does not fight Gilberto Ramirez next. I think they saw that fight that he had against Dorticos. They see how and this is what I say. I think that if Gilberto Ramirez looked like trash, if he looked like trash, let's just say he had a close controversial fight with Dorticos, Jake Paul would have jumped on that fight. You know what I'm saying? And I seen Jake Paul face off with Gilberto, and he was like, "Let's make this fight happen." But I didn't hear him say, "Let's make this fight happen next." I definitely didn't see that. I think when he saw that fight with Dorticos, he seen that Gilberto was strong. He has heavy output because he throws a lot of punches for being a cruiserweight. Just keep it 1,000. They actually were both throwing a lot of punches, but I think what saved Gilberto in that fight was that he had the better gas tank than Dorticos. I just think that he was more consistent with his volume, and as a result of that, he was able to pull off the victory because it was competitive, especially in the beginning. But I think Jake Paul, seeing how big Gilberto Ramirez was, his output, and his pressure, and when we see Jake Paul fight, you know what I'm saying? You see that he gas out. You see that he gets tired. We see that he's a front runner. You know what I'm saying? So considering the fact that, you know, Jake Paul's a front runner, stylistically, Gilberto Ramirez will be a nightmare for Jake Paul. And let's not act like Jake Paul don't be getting a little scary when it comes to, like, you know, fighting bigger guys. You know what I'm saying? Like we remember that Hakeem Rahman Jr. situation. Let's not get it fucked up. Let's not get it fucked up. You was trying to drain Hakeem Rahman down to the weight. You see what I mean? You was so concerned that he was gonna miss weight that you pulled out of the fight before he even got to the scale. You didn't even give that man an opportunity to make the weight the day of the weigh-in. He most likely he wouldn't have made it. You know what I mean? Most likely he wouldn't have made it. But and I think he actually did a weigh-in that day and all. He was only a few pounds short from the cruiserweight limit. But regardless, let's not act like Jake Paul ain't got no picks. He got picks. He moves very calculated. You know what I mean? He sparred Hakeem Rahman before. You know what I mean? I think that him fighting Hakeem Rahman was just to garner some attention. If he genuinely wanted to fight Hakeem Rahman and felt like he could beat the man, then he would have fought that man that day. You know what I mean? He would have fined them. He would have took some of his purse and he would have still followed through with the rumble. Stop it. So when he sees Gilberto Ramirez, because he is bigger than Jake Paul, when he sees the size, pause, the pressure, and the output, that's not something that Jake Paul wants to go through. He don't. He definitely don't. Said Gilberto Ramirez is slow and that's easy work. Okay. Well, based off of what you saying, brother, you know you in boxing, when you say certain shit, you gotta back it up. And if you don't, you a fraud. You know what I mean? Or you pussy, whatever the case is. Um, Jake Paul saying that Gilberto Ramirez is slow and that's easy work. Okay, show us. Because I guarantee you, if Jake Paul defeats Gilberto Ramirez some way, somehow, and becomes the fucking cruiserweight champion of the world, I swear to God, you won't ever hear me criticize Jake Paul again. I swear I won't. But just knowing how the way he moves, he tries to make it seem like, you know, he's going after the best competition and he'll like try to spin certain narratives to, make it seem like he's out here taking the best challenges. It's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like he was fighting those pro guys uh that had like winning records and he was trying to move around saying that these was legit professional fighters. Okay, technically, yeah, they're legit professional fighters. But I could run through a bunch of undefeated bums in the sport of boxing. I told y'all this plenty of times. Plenty of times. You know what I mean? They even went out to try to make it seem like Mike Tyson was still at his best. When everybody knew that was bullshit. Like, come on, bro. Like, we seen you struggle with Tyron Woodley. We seen you struggle with Tyron Woodley. You fought Tommy Fury, bro. This dude's a part-time boxer just eating off of his brother's last name. He got up off of his motherfucking auditions for Love Island, trained for a couple weeks, then went and fried you. And then went right back to Love Island right after that. Niggas know that you easy work, cuz. And you moving real calculated. We see it. You trying to spin it as if you looking for all the smoke. I mean, you know that's not the reality. That's not the reality. And what makes me very interested in what's a really interesting question to me was you were saying that the Canelo Alvarez fight was this close to being made, right? What weight class was that going to happen in, Jake? Serious question. Like, if you were this close to making this fight happen with Canelo Alvarez, what weight were you planning on making that fight? I also have another question. There's been these rumors going around that you may face Javonte Davis and shit like that. And obviously the weight difference is too crazy for it to be a sanctioned bout. So I'm assuming there's gonna be an exhibition. What weight would you and Javonte Davis fight at? What are y'all agreeing on? Y'all just gonna do some pride rule shit where you just come in one weight, he come in another weight, y'all just rumble. It is what it is. What's going on with that? And why is that even an option if you're looking to be world champion? I seen this man Jake Paul call out Badu Jack, Gilberto Ramirez, and Javonte Davis in one night. Like, when you calling out a lightweight and a cruiserweight in the same night, how the fuck does that even make sense? Yeah, G tatted up. He wouldn't have a choice. That's the thing. Yeah, it will have to be an exhibition. It would have to be an exhibition. Like how? There's no way that any commission in the fucking world could make that a sanctioned fight. Yeah, on both sides. Why is Javonte Davis and Jake Paul a matchup on both sides? Javonte got Lamont Roach problems. And speaking of that, where the fuck is the fight date for them? Because somebody tell me that they supposed to be fighting next month. We have yet to get a date. We have yet to get a venue. We have yet to get an official announcement. What's going on? Lamont Roach over here talking about Javonte Davis scared, but I don't even know if it's a Javonte Davis thing. I think this is a PBC thing, to be honest with you. And it hurts for me to say this because I grew up loving the PBC. I love their motto. I love what they was doing for black fighters. I fuck with Al Heyman. You know what I'm saying? I've always rocked with Al Heyman, and I hate it when people used to talk about how bad PBC is doing financially and all this shit, bro. But at this point, bro, the money got to be dried up over there at the PBC, man. You know what I mean? Javonte Davis, he's staying loyal. Salute to him for being loyal to Al. Al Heyman helped him get to where he is, so that's who he should definitely be loyal to. But it's like Javonte Davis, you know what I mean? He not happy with the money that he's being offered and stuff like that. And, everybody's sitting on the shelf and they're not as active as they used to be. Inactivity killing these top PBC fighters one by one. We've seen it happen with Deontay Wilder. We've seen it happen with Danny Garcia. We've seen it happen with Keith Thurman. Like we seeing this shit all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all saying August 16th. We have yet to see an announcement. Why are we waiting so long? Like if that's a legit fight date, why are y'all waiting so long to announce the fight date? I remember PBC used to announce fights months ahead to promote the fight properly. I remember Floyd Mayweather said it takes 6 months to build up a pay-per-view fight, right? But PBC will let you know months ahead, 3-4 months ahead, that this fight is going to happen, and we'd be excited for the 3-4 months, going into the fight. Nowadays, we getting 4 weeks notice, and y'all ultimately setting up these fighters up for failure because there's a lot of busy boxing fans out here that need more than 4 weeks notice, 3 weeks notice to get themselves in a situation where they're able to show up to the fight. So it's ridiculous at this point, bro. Like I don't know exactly what's going on over there, but it looks like funny money out there. It seems like the money a little strange over there. You feel me? It's like it's a lot of shit ain't right. A lot of shit ain't right. But it is what it is, man. I don't know what's going on with Javonte Davis and Lamont Roach's situation. It seems like they're being optimistic. At least on Lamont Roach's side, I see Lamont training. I don't know if Javonte Davis I don't know if he's training or whatever, but usually when he's on social media, that means that he's training. So we'll see. I don't know. It's a lot of weird stuff going on with them, man. And hopefully, we don't get a fight date pushed back as a result of that. But at the same time, like Anonymous said, some people convinced that this fight ain't happening. And bro, I'm only like a week or so away from believing in that myself. Because let's rewind back to the Javonte Davis and Lamont Roach draw happening in, the post-fight press conference where Javonte Davis took a long ass time to come out and speak to the people. He came out and told the media, correct me if I'm wrong. Jermaine, we all want to see the fight real bad. So we on the same page, brother. But what I'm telling you is he sat up at that press conference and told you that Lamont Roach is not next. He said it. Now, minds can change, but he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this fight next." Lamont Roach, I wanted to be, but it's not gonna be next. Blah blah blah. And the person that he was supposed to fight was in his locker room and shit like that. And he was at the fights, but he didn't want to reveal who it was, bro. You said, and then all of a sudden, Lamont Roach and the boxing fans put the pressure on you. Now all of a sudden, you willing to go through with the Lamont Roach rematch. But now it seems like you ain't too optimistic in fighting Lamont Roach. You talking about pulling up to his son's school and like little disrespectful shit like that, bro. Is it like, do you really want to fight? Cause it sound like you saying a little personal shit like that. It seem like you want to fuck your money up. That's what it looked like to me. When you saying stuff like that, bro, first of all, saying that to the wrong person could, really take things to a totally different level where it's no longer about boxing. So if you're more than willing to fight this man in a rematch and really want to prove yourself, why you keep trying to incorporate street things in the whole situation? It's almost like you trying to look for a way out of the fight. Because what you're doing by sending these little, threats and stuff like that, you taking it outside of boxing. And if you take things outside of boxing, it could get to a real messy situation where boxing is no longer, the topic. And boxing fans lose the fight as a result. And you lose a payday as a result. So I don't know, bro. I don't know. Underdog Zero said, "Who wins? Prime Amir versus Roelly Romero." Prime Amir was a monster. He had very fast hands, but his chin was shaky even during his prime. So if Roelly could time him, he could possibly hurt him because Roelly does have fucking bricks in his hands. But maybe Amir Khan might have just been a level above Roelly, man. He probably would have outpointed Roelly Romero. Um, but Roelly definitely a threat because he explosive. Great, conditioning. You know what I mean? So I look like Jason Tatum. I hear that all the time, brother. Smoochie packed him. She wasn't even playing with him. But I do hear that a lot. I be walking through the mall, niggas say that. I hear that all the time. Anyways, we spoke about Jake Paul getting into the WBA rankings and how the business of boxing is more than willing to put Jake Paul in that situation. Floyd Schofield, speaking of Javonte Davis, Floyd Schofield has officially become the #1 contender for the WBA title in the lightweight division. I'm gonna just say congratulations to Floyd Schofield for that. He definitely earned that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people was doubting him going into the Tevin Farmer fight. I was one of the people that told you that, Floyd Schofield will come out victorious against Tevin Farmer, but I did not know that he would do that in that fashion. Great performance. He showcased some fast hands, explosiveness. I like the short right hook that had put Tevin Farmer down in the first knockdown. He finished well, and he did what he needed to do. You know what I mean? He jumped on Tevin Farmer early. He landed the big shot. He finished it as he was supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Tevin Farmer, he went down the first time. He got up too quick. His legs wasn't underneath him. Second knockdown was worse than the first one, in my opinion. The way that his head had snapped back off of the fall just let me know that he was not well. And I don't think he would have had enough time because the knockdown had happened so early. There was a lot of time left on the clock. If there was probably like eight, I don't know. If there was like a good amount of time, if there was like a very short amount of time on the clock, maybe he could have got, to his corner and recovered. You know what I mean? Because that's typically what people do when they're in, top condition. But he got caught early in the round. You know what I mean? He got dropped multiple times and he seemed defenseless at the end when Kid Austin was most likely going to drop him again. So the referee did the right thing in stopping the fight. So Kid Austin pretty much made a statement. No, not pretty much. He made a big statement in the lightweight division. You know what I mean? He definitely silenced a lot of doubters because I did see a lot of doubters on Twitter, you know what I mean, on YouTube, just scrolling through videos, even in boxing articles. I've seen a lot of people doubt, Kid Austin going into the fight. You know what I mean? But he was able to silence a lot of haters and he was already ranked high in the WBA, but now he got the #1 spot. So the question that I want to pose to the people, and this shit might go back to the business of boxing. But do y'all think that the WBA won't enforce Javonte Davis to face his #1 mandatory in Floyd Schofield? Like, will they mandate Javonte Davis to face Floyd Schofield? Will they do that? Because we've seen historically that Javonte Davis pushed back against the WBA when they attempted to make him do something. And the WBA fell back as a result of that. You know what I mean? So I'm seeing some questions right now. GM says, of course. So you believe the WBA will hold Javonte Davis accountable to fight Floyd Schofield? Blood Rush Entertainment says Floyd Schofield domination of Tevin Farmer sells me more on him now. Now he's done what Cepeda and the current 135 champion couldn't when you look at it. That's a great point, Blood Rush. That's a great point. What? They should not even have to. David should want that smoke. What David you talking about? David. We talking about Javonte and Floyd Schofield. What David we talking about? Oh, Davis. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Aaron. You said Davis. You said Davis should want that smoke. The problem is Javonte Davis is, he got stage 4, SSD. You know what I mean? He got stage 4 SSD, man. That boy Javonte Davis got selective smoke disorder, man. Let's just keep it 1,000. You know what I'm saying? Let's really keep it a bean. Like Javonte Davis, you know what I mean? Any of the fighters, it's almost like when it comes to boxing fans, he's the ultimate contrarian. Boxing fans that ask him to fight this guy, he don't want to fight that guy. Then they'll bring up another guy. He's not willing to fight that guy. It's almost like everybody that we want him to fight, he's against, and people we don't want to see him fight, he fights. Like it's crazy. It's like we almost got to tell Tank, don't fight Shakur, don't fight Shakur, because then he might fight the nigga. It's like we got to tell him to just do the opposite. Like if we want him to do what we want, we just got to tell him the opposite. Don't you dare fight Deon Haney. Don't you dare fight Shakur. He'd be like, you know what? The fans don't want me to fight him, so I'm gonna fight him. God damn. This shit is crazy. Shit is sick work. Shit is definitely sick work. Yeah, shit definitely opposite day. Marlon says, Kid is a young lion at 22, but Tank in his absolute prime at 30. Let's see it. I mean, you let Tank tell it, he don't want to box no more. So I don't know. Usually, like when you at your prime, you know what I mean? You're just as invested mentally than you are physically. So you know what I'm saying? Can we really say that Javonte Davis is at his prime? Because I've always heard that when your prime is like when your mind and your physical are aligned. You know what I mean? At his peak. Javonte Davis, of course, physically he may still be there, but mentally it seemed like he tapped out from the sport. It almost seemed like he on his Jared Anderson shit. So it's like I don't know if we can necessarily say that he's in his prime, but let's say he is. There should be no reason why these guys don't fight. There's no reason why these guys don't fight. You already, you know what I mean? You ain't sending offers to no Shakur Stevenson. You know what I'm saying? And I'm seeing people like, oh, why Shakur didn't sign with the PBC? Bro, when's the last time the PBC actually signed somebody, bro? Can somebody tell me the last time the PBC signed somebody? Like I remember when they signed Arrow, they signed Keith, they signed Sean Porter, they were signing everybody left and right, Adrian Broner. When was the last time we heard the PBC actually sign somebody, bro? Who's their new signee? But they want you to believe. And Shakur was, he was interested in the PBC and stuff like that. He wanted a multi-fight deal. They couldn't give it to him. Why is that? Because the money he probably was looking for, they didn't have. They didn't have for him. On some real shit, I knew something was wrong with the PBC when they put Andy Ruiz and Luis Ortiz, on pay-per-view. I'm like, oh, that money drying out. So it's pretty much, you know what I mean? Like, we ain't really got the money for you, so we gonna put this shit on pay-per-view and whatever it generate, we just gonna hand it, we just gonna give it to you. That's what it sounds like to me. Let me see. Let's take a look at Marco Verde. Okay. But like, let's say PBC did sign Marco Verde. That's something that went completely under the radar, and they not signing as many people as like Eddie Hearn has been signing. You know what I mean? They ain't signing motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? They ain't signing motherfuckers like Top Rank is. You know what I mean? So it seems like they extremely limited. In terms of their funds. That's just shit that I'm noticing. That's what I'm peeping. And I hope I'm capping. I hope this a lie. But yeah, I mean, there's too many weird situations going on, and it all seems to point to the same thing. And it's like, I mean, that money a little funny over there. That money a little funny over there. You feel what I'm saying? But I don't think the WBA enforces Javonte Davis to face Floyd Schofield. I think that they understand, Javonte is true to his word that he retiring at the end of this year. So they probably gonna let the rest of the year run by. Javonte Davis is gonna go on this little retirement. You know what I mean? Might have to vacate the title he may relinquish his title shortly afterwards. And Floyd Schofield might fight for the vacant WBA title in the lightweight division. If I'm Floyd Schofield, I wouldn't even trip about fighting Javonte Davis. I would just be looking to keep my position at number one. Cause for real, you know what I mean? Like you punched on, Tevin Farmer and shit like that, cool. But Javonte Davis is a totally different animal, right? And with you being 22 years old, I don't think that's something that you want to jump into right away. I know your pop out here talking like, you know what I mean, he'll knock Tank out like he did Tevin Farmer. All that shit sounds amazing. But we all know at the end of the day, Javonte Davis brings a totally different situation to the table in comparison to Tevin Farmer. You know what I mean? Totally different style, way more dangerous. You know what I mean? And on some real stuff, he's the more skilled fighter in comparison to Kid Austin. I don't care what anybody say. You feel me? I think shit. I think if Kid Austin get a little crazy with Javonte, he gonna run into some shit. Might go out like Roelly, to be honest with you. That's just what I believe with how careless he comes in. He said, "Oh man, I could box. I just prefer to what I mean, make it a fight because I love to fight." Man, that's a lack of discipline and that's a lack of IQ. To be honest with you, if your love for fighting just overthrows like your intelligence and your overall ability to box, that's a lack of discipline. That's a lack of focus, bro. You know what I mean? There's no reason why your emotions should be getting ahead of like your feelings, like your love to your loving your strong sense of love to brawl should never, go ahead of your mind. You feel what I'm saying? Your ability to box. Or I could box, I just choose not to. Bullshit. Bullshit. You come in reckless like that against Javonte Davis, you're gonna run into some hot shit and you might not get up off that canvas, bro. Shit cool with Tevin. I don't think you're getting that off of no Javonte Davis though. Just my personal opinion. Yeah, kid is raw talent. Tank is polished. Yeah, you could definitely see that. And I said that back at the Renee fight that Kid Austin got a lot of potential. I've seen a lot of good things with Kid Austin. I like his athleticism. I like his speed. Yeah, I mean he got some good explosiveness. Like he got it going for sure. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? He definitely needs some time to grow. And I understand he sparred all these different world champions, but you know what I mean? Sparring is sparring. Regardless of what, you know, Auntie Sco say, they two totally different settings. And I bet you if he let his son speak for himself, he would confirm that. You know what I'm saying? Like if niggas want to be sparring fucking enthusiasts or, guys who just specialize in sparring and that's cool. But anybody that boxed and competed at a high level will tell you those two totally different things. Yeah, he definitely green. So if I'm a part of Floyd Schofield camp or I'm Floyd Schofield himself, I'm not rushing to fight Javonte Davis. I'm a keep taking these fights to continue, developing my, skills. You know what I mean? Polishing up more as a professional. And when Javonte Davis relinquishes that title, then I'm gonna go get it. Sparring Super Saiyans, facts. And I always say, if a motherfucker got to bring up who they sparred or what they did in the amateurs to justify being a good pro, it's because they ain't accomplished shit. But good win with Tevin Farmer, though. Good win with Tevin Farmer. I knew he could beat him, and he did. He did. So it is what it is. Smoochie gonna say Tevin overripe. You petty. You said good interaction on X, bro. What you mean by that? But anyways, Jermaine says I'm tired hearing fighters speaking on sparring. I want to hear them get in the ring with another. That's a fact. That's a fact, man. Like I said, people bringing up sparring all the time is because they ain't do shit as a pro. To be honest with you, like I said, and I brought this example up, a few days ago. We don't hear Floyd talk about his sparring sessions with Pernell Whitaker or Frankie Randall and stuff like that. You know why? Because he, what I mean, that's insignificant in comparison to what he's done in the professionals under the bright lights. You see what I mean? Like, if you got to bring up your amateur record, you know what I mean, that goes to show you ain't do shit in the pros. And whenever you're trying to justify, somebody on your resume, you talk about they're an Olympic silver medalist. Okay, cool. That would have been a dope feat. That would have been a dope feature if you beat him in the amateurs. But we talking about the pros, sir. So what did he do in the pros that makes him a notable name on your resume? Don't bring up the amateurs. Does the amateurs polish you, put you in a good position to be a great professional? Yes, but the amateurs and the pros are different. Boxing is what have you done for me now lately? So when you're trying to justify how somebody's a good pro and you bringing up the amateurs, those apples and oranges. Same sport, you know what I mean? Different, circumstances. Go 787 said, I meant Twitter. You need to stay more active so we can share the content, especially the channel. Man, I don't really like being on Twitter all like that, man. I don't even be on TikTok. The only social media I'll be on for real is Instagram. I mean, like, you're not gonna catch me on nowhere but Instagram. And even there, like, I don't really be talking boxing on Instagram all like that. You know what I mean? It just be like, I post my son. You know what I mean? I post a little funny shit and that's shit. Like, I don't know. I like to keep my shit, separated. Aaron says he ain't ready, but if he barks up that tree, let him poke the bear. Yeah, I mean they let Erickson Lubin do it for Jamel. But like people knew he wasn't ready. There was actually people that thought Lubin was going to beat Jamel because of all the momentum he had. But the reality was he wasn't ready. But he barked up the wrong tree, and whatever happened happened. The boxing community is lacking on TikTok. Shout out to Mazuma TV clips, man. If you in the building right now, you know what I mean? Salute to you. He been getting my name out there in the boxing world. I mean, he been getting my name out there in the TikTok world, just talking boxing and shit like that, man. He's been doing absolutely phenomenal. And he's bringing a lot of attention to the page as a result of that. And I don't know him personally, but I mean, that's a good dude right there. Shout out to Mazuma TV clips. Bro, I seen some shit where they was like, bro, Devin Haney gotta be the most hated fighter, like, since Floyd, bro. Like, I don't know, shit kind of like, shit, he might have, I kind of want to say he was more hated than Floyd, but damn, bro. Like, I heard somebody say, I think it was like a little, you know, video that I seen the Boxing Voice post. Dude was talking to Ness. He was like, y'all, if y'all was in the group chat, y'all seen it. But he was pretty much saying, man, why? Man, everybody always talking about Javonte Davis fighting people that we don't want him to see. But what about Devin Haney? When he ever gave us a fight that we wanted to see? Like, who asked him to fight? Who asked him to fight George Kambosos? It's like, what? Even Ness was like, man, get the fuck out of here, bro. What are you talking about? He was like, no, for real though, man. Like, ain't nobody asked Devin Haney to fight no George Kambosos, man. Like, we ain't asked you to do that. Like, what? Bro, that was a fight for all the belts. Like that was a fight for undisputed. So all of a sudden, We hating on Devin Haney so bad. Like, not we, because we don't. But boxing fans are hating on Devin Haney so bad. Boxing fans are hating on Devin Haney so bad that we're going to criticize him for fighting for undisputed? So we against undisputed now. We hating motherfuckers so much that we supporting drug cheats, cheating against them, right? Y'all criticizing when he was attempting to discipline a drug cheat by putting a lawsuit out against him, and now we holding undisputed against Devin Haney. Like, ain't that what y'all want? Ain't that what y'all want as boxing fans, bro? Undisputed is the ultimate fight. That is like that's top 3 most meaningful fights in boxing. I don't think it gets much better than undisputed. You know why? Because whoever wins that, nobody could say that they not the best in a weight class, bro. You can't say he not the man. How could you say somebody better than him in the weight class if he got all the belts to show that he the man? Like, I don't fuck with Canelo Alvarez. I think David Benvdz will spank Canelo Alvarez if they fight. But I couldn't sit here and say that David Benvdz was the man at 168. You know why? Because Canelo had all the fucking belts and he beat everybody he needed to put himself in that position. If David Benvdz would have never missed weight during the pandemic, Canelo would have never been in that position. So David Benvdz, one of my favorite fighters in boxing right now, absolutely love the dude as a fighter. But he can't blame nobody but himself for Canelo being undisputed. If you would have made weight during the pandemic, and listen, I was in the PBC bubble during the pandemic. I know how hard it was for motherfuckers to make weight. Trust me. But at the same time, you still had a responsibility. You still signed a contract. You didn't come through with that. So they stripped you as a result of that, just following the rules. And you let that situation open up an avenue for Canelo Alvarez to become undisputed. Yeah, he ducks you. Yeah, he don't want no smoke with you. Yeah, he talking about $200 million to fight you. But he would have never been an undisputed 168-pound champion if you did what you needed to do. And part of it is making weight. You see? What he said? Ask Steven Espinoza about what? Undisputed means king of your division. Yeah, so Devin Haney fights George Kambosos, coming off of his biggest win against Teofimo Lopez. When Teofimo Lopez was the unified lightweight champion of the world. And y'all got a problem with that. So Lomachenko is unified. Teo beats him. Teo becomes unified. Teo unified fights George Kambosos. Kambosos beats Teofimo Lopez, becomes unified. Kambosos fights Devin Haney. Devin Haney beats him. He becomes undisputed. That's a problem. Like, what the fuck? Like, bro, what y'all want from this man? Like, motherfuckers want him to walk on water. You know what I mean? Like, y'all want this dude to be Jesus. Like, y'all want this man to just be perfect. This man is doing, bro, like, look at what he's doing. He's about to fight Brian Norman, one of the most dangerous motherfuckers in the welterweight division. Probably the most dangerous welterweight right now that Boost moved up. And we talk about who wanted to see. I think the same dude said, who asked for Devin Haney versus Brian Norman? Are you fucking serious? Like we really about to sit here and act like Brian Norman versus Devin Haney not a good fight? Like, are we really about to sit here and push that narrative because we hate Devin Haney that much or hate Bill Haney that much? Bro, there's no way I have that much energy in me. There's no way that I'm that deep of a hater or had that deep of resentment in my soul over a fucking boxer or a promoter that I'm gonna discredit a man for going undisputed. Who asked Terrence Crawford to fight Julius Ndongo, man? Who asked Usyk to fight? Like, man, who asked for Usyk to fight Fury? Huh? Who asked Henry to fight Stephen Fulton? You see how dumb that sounds? All Devin Haney want to do is take the best fights possible to show that he's the best. That's a problem. That's a problem to y'all. That's insane to me. I remember when Deontay Wilder was looking for all the smoke. Look, man, all Deontay Wilder do is fight bums. Man, Luis Ortiz was 40 years old. He had high blood pressure. Yeah, but Luis Ortiz, y'all miss a lot of context. And those of y'all who've been in boxing that long could attest to this. Luis Ortiz was one of the most ducked fighters in the sport of boxing during his prime. Say I'm lying. Who wanted to smoke with Luis Ortiz coming up outside of Deontay Wilder? You want to know how I know? Luis Ortiz was the most ducked the most ducked guy and one of the most avoided fighters in boxing at the time because Deontay Wilder was the only one that gave him a world title shot to this day. And by the time Andy Ruiz got to him, he was already damaged goods. Was already a shell of himself. And Luis Ortiz still, I mean, he lost to Andy, but you know what I'm saying? Like, he still gave Andy work. Ain't that something? Luis Ortiz is a nobody. He's a bum. He doesn't fight anybody. All right, but y'all remember when Luis Ortiz signed a Matchroom trying to get that AJ fight, and you know he left that Matchroom deal without an AJ fight? Shit is crazy. Shit is crazy. Huh? He said, "What about my brother Perry, Dirty Boxing Championship?" I don't know what you talking about, Zach Attack, at all. You been to a Diddy party? No, but your mom did. They had her in a hot dog eating contest. For sure. I bet you they done told you growing up you look like Diddy. That's a coincidence. Marlon says, I feel like my generation don't care about belts. Belts should always matter. Is legacy. That's a fact. And you know, we've had guys, historical haters. You know, we gotta blame guys like Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather for that shit. You know what I mean? Like Mike Tyson was sent, and listen, bro, a lot of people be scared to challenge Mike Tyson because they know he'll crash out and all that crazy stuff. But yo, Mike Tyson really sat there and told you that legacy don't mean like pretty much saying like legacy don't mean anything, and you know what I'm saying. But I seen him say belts collect dust. Okay, Mike, if belts collect dust, why do you still have them? If they're that insignificant to you, why do you still have them? Cut the bullshit, man. Cut the bullshit. You made hundreds of millions of dollars. You fucked your money up, you know, knocking people out and settling in lawsuits and you know, not taking care of your money, being irresponsible, buying all types of crazy stuff. You walking around with lions and you know, buying houses that you know what I mean, didn't put any you made a lot of dumb moves, and then when you went broke, you blamed it on Don King. Did Don King take bread? Yeah, of course he did. But you still had made enough money where you should have never been boxing in the early 2000s. Like you should have never fought Lennox. You should have never uh did that last fight prior to the Jake Paul one. You should have never fought Jake Paul. To be honest with you, um, hold on. You know, and then we got Floyd Mayweather who done had every damn belt. Mind you, this is somebody who had 3 world titles after he beat Manny Pacquiao. I think he had the WBC, he had the WBA, and he had the WBO after he beat Manny Pacquiao. He had 3 out of the 4 belts, but he wouldn't tell you that, you know, having multiple belts is a problem. This man done been unified champion, I don't know how many times, but he wouldn't tell you that, You know what I mean? Belts don't matter. You can't eat off of legacy and all that, bro. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I seen it with my own eyes. I seen it with you. I seen it with you. I done seen Floyd Mayweather, um, you know what I mean, get paid to be to like host parties and stuff like that. You think that you was getting paid to host these parties because they liked you or because you was just a cool person? No, because you're a fucking Mayweather, bro. That's why. Like I've seen people franchise. Mayweather literally has boxing gyms that people franchise. Like he franchises boxing gyms and they pay him just to put their name in their gym because they know attaching Mayweather to a boxing gym's name will bring clients. Because when people think about Floyd, they think about him being the best. TBE, 50 and 0. Don't tell me you don't eat off legacy, bro. Like, I don't understand this, bro. Like Muhammad Ali. Yeah, he eat off legacy. You want to know how I know? Because Nico Ali boss was able to get a promotional deal with Top Rank, and he's a bum. Can't eat. My kids can't eat off legacy. Yes, they can. Once they find out they are Mayweather, they'll get opportunities that a lot of people won't. No, they're not really his gyms. He don't run them Jones. Probably the one in Vegas, the only one that he run, like the one that he trained out of. But there's Mayweather gyms all around the country. He franchises them. Like he pretty much sells his name to them and they build the gym based off of his name. What? Aaron, what you talking about? No more whack text. Keep it boxing. What we talking about? You talking about the trolls? So we got these legends telling these fighters that belts don't matter and legacy don't matter and all this stuff. When but then when you bring up But when they bring up like, what they proud of and stuff, they talk about how many world champions they beat. They talk about what titles they got. Mike Tyson will tell you he the youngest heavyweight champion of all time. Like if legacy don't mean anything to you, why is that the first thing you bringing up when talking about your career? Why are you bringing up accolades if it means nothing to you? I don't understand that. You pretty much on some real shit. You saying legacy means nothing and all that. You know what I mean? But you always praising your old coach Cus D'Amato whenever you can. I don't understand that. He part of your legacy and you constantly bringing him up. Your legacy don't mean nothing. Why you keep mentioning him? But they'll never challenge Mike Tyson like that because they scared of him and shit like that. You feel me? Floyd just full of shit. The reason why he tell people, what I mean, that belts don't mean anything is because he don't want anybody to accomplish what he didn't accomplish. And I genuinely feel like to this day, that's the main reason why he goes out of his way to try to, target Devin Haney. He wanted Devin Haney to sign with him. They had bread. They didn't need to sign with anybody. They didn't need nobody to back them financially. Bill came into the game with a bag. So he funded his son's career. He went the free agent route. Huh? Conquest, what you talking about, bro? Show me one contract. I don't know what you talking about, bro. What is this dude talking about? He said, I think 50 Cent still owns the rights to Mayweather Promotions. I don't think he ever owned the rights to Mayweather Promotions. From what I understand, Floyd was in jail, right? So when Floyd was in jail, Floyd had told 50 to take care of like his businesses for him while he was gone, right? So when 50 Cent had looked over his businesses and he was doing what Floyd told him to do, he realized that his shit wasn't really set up. So he did what was necessary. He did what was necessary. And I think like he LLC, the business, whatever the hell he did. He made it a legit business, and it took some money of his in order to do that. So when Floyd came back, he said he didn't want to rush Floyd into paying him back. But he said Floyd spending money on this, and that, and all. Like he coming out of jail, just being the flashy guy he is. And 50 like, yo, so like, what's up, bro? Like, I mean, like I took care of this, and this for you. When you gonna pay me back for that? He like, and Floyd was, oh man, I didn't tell you to do that. So he was like, damn, what you mean, bro? You told me to look after your businesses for you. I take care of your businesses. That costed me some money as a result of that. Now you telling me I ain't need to do that. So now you're pretty much saying I'm burnt out of my bread. And that was the downfall of their relationship from there. Then there's a few other things. Like 50 was upset that Floyd's son broke his arm and Floyd didn't tell him about it. So I'm assuming 50 and Floyd's son had a good relationship and he didn't communicate that with him. All types of stuff. Then Floyd was like linking up with people that had problems with 50, like Rick Ross and hella weird shit. I don't know what this dude talking about. I really don't. This nigga conquest on like Mars or some shit. I don't understand, dude. But anyways, Floyd a hater. It's long story short. I mean? A lot of these, up and coming guys, they look up to Floyd, so they won't ever go out of their way to call him that, but that's just what it is. Floyd the type dude that he don't mind if you do well, but he don't want you to do better than him. That's just the reality. You know what I mean? That's just the reality of the situation. So when I hear these guys talk about, oh, belts don't matter, legacy don't matter, you can't eat off legacy, full of shit. Full of shit. So let's cut it off. Legacy don't matter, right? Your kids can't eat off legacy. So if somebody, let's say, one of Floyd Mayweather's kids signs up for a business loan. I doubt they would ever need that because Floyd good. But let's say they sign up for a business loan or whatever the case is, or they make reservations to a restaurant and they see that Mayweather last name. When they do their research and find out that that's one of Floyd Mayweather's kids, you think that they not gonna get special treatment? You think that they not gonna be put in special positions because of your last name and what you contributed to the world? Come on, man. Stop it. So Kobe Bryant's kids, they not gonna eat off his legacy. The Bryants, Vanessa Bryant not gonna eat off his legacy. The other daughters that's currently, here, they not gonna eat off his legacy. Stop it. Legacy equals immortality. I agree, Marlon. He says 50 Cent did all the paperwork to make Mayweather's Promotions a real company, and the paperwork went through, but Floyd didn't sign, but 50 did. Okay, so why? I don't know that situation. Maybe that's true, but why hasn't 50 Cent taken over the company then? You know what I mean? Like if 50 put all that bread into the company, Floyd never paid him back. Why didn't he keep the company as the result of that? And I don't know if that's how business documents are set up. Like I don't know. I don't know. Some question marks behind. I don't have all the information. Go 787 said Michael Jordan's son get free cocaine in Chicago just by being MJ's son. Oh man, that's funny as hell. I don't know you, brother, but salute to India, man. Salute to India. You know what I mean? Krishna, Navy. Damn, Smoochy pegged him. I think the whole time I think he a real channel. Yo, Smoochie ain't got time for the foolishness. But anyways, spoke about pretty much everything. We spoke about the Jake Paul WBA situation, Floyd Schofield WBA situation. Spoke a little bit about Norman and Haney. I mean, if y'all want to get to that, in more depth, we can. Or we could just get into the open box of topics, man. I'm gonna leave that up to y'all. This dude Conquest, like he off a Addy or something. That boy on that Fenty pack. This dude ain't making no sense. What you mean high Loma? What are you talking about? Yeah, he definitely on him and Mastermind on the same type of time. Y'all remember, like, I'll be on here I'll be over here talking about some uh Mastermind being his own world too. We be over here talking about food. He'd be like, excellent analysis. Like, bro, this dude crazy as hell. Why Smoochie keep packing Creation on? I already done spoke about that SM down H9. I already spoke about the Jake Paul situation, but just to make a long story short, on what I said earlier, Jake Paul, I, the business of boxing put Jake Paul in that situation. These sanctioning bodies, they about their money. You know what I mean? They about their money just like the fighters about their money, just like the promoters and the managers and the advisors, the trainers, just like how they all about their money. I mean, these sanctioning bodies are too. When you look over the cruiserweight division, there ain't really anybody that's, considered stars or making like crazy paydays. Jake Paul happens to be making those crazy paydays. So, of course, they're going to put him in position to fight for their belt because they understand if Jake Paul has the WBA title around his waist, they're going to be getting to a serious check. And considering how active Jake Paul is, fighting 3 times a year, you know what I mean? Fighting about 3 times a year, each time he fights is like a big attraction. If he's making $30-40 million and they getting 1 to 3% of that, that's they gonna eat. They gonna eat. So I think WBA is gonna do everything in their power to try to get that belt around Jake Paul waist. Or at least put him in the opportunity, or at least give him the opportunity to fight for the belt. I wouldn't be surprised at all. They'll be more than what they would love to have Jake Paul's name attached to their world title. They say, all right, let's give him the opportunity first. You know what I mean? He running around talking about how he won't fight for a world title. Let's give him that opportunity. Let's have him fight for an interim belt. I'm sure you got to pay for interim belts as well. And, they probably go from there. But one thing I am going to tell you is he's not fighting Zordo Ramirez next. I promise you he won't fight Gilberto Ramirez next. These dudes is crazy. And these like legit channels with like crazy subscribers too. Remember this one dude was talking crazy on here talking about fighting me and shit. He had like between $250,000 to $500,000 subscribers. It's like, bro, y'all motherfucker, y'all really be watching, cuz. Blood Rush Entertainment, shout out to him. Conquest said that a lot of ninjas be slow, but you spelled address wrong. Can't make this shit up, people. Blood Rush Entertainment says, I like Jake as a promoter and the cards he put on. To me, the boxing world and the empty cruiserweight division open the doors for someone like Jake to come through the way the sanctioning bodies operate. Yep, that's pretty much what I said. Yep, that's a great assessment right there, brother. You know what you're talking about. Shout out to Blood Rush Entertainment. I remember Blood Rush used to come on here at Trauma Dump. That's why I don't like these bitches, man. Because every time you give them a chance, they go ahead and they go fuck their baby dad. Like, what the fuck up? Hold up. Second, I'll just fuck with you. Shout out to Blood Rush Entertainment. Shout out to Blood Rush. Mastermind definitely the GOAT, though. We gotta bring him back around. I try to get his contact information, but he act like he don't, you know what I mean? He act like he don't want to give me that. He think I work for the CIA or something. No, man. Mastermind look like the type that, you know what I mean? He see the cops drive by, he turn all the lights off in his crib. Mastermind the type, he's scared of the government. Oh no, that's the police. J. Cash said Mastermind still got dial-up internet. America Online. I remember used to sign into AOL and they'd be like, "You got mail." Loud as shit. Wake the whole crib up. "You got mail." I'm like, all right, nigga, chill. Damn. As soon as you sign in, that's when AIM they had the instant messaging. Oh, that was good times, bro. I remember they had KOL. They had Kids Online. It was the kids version of AOL. Yo, I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story. So one time I was about to leave for football practice, but I used to be like on the internet, you know what I mean? I'm trying to figure out the computer because all that. This was me like being new to the internet. And I remember like I would be like on these kid chat rooms, and I ain't know nothing about like pedos and shit like that. So I had like one person write me like individually, and I forgot exactly what they said. And I remember being so confused. Um, my dad was like, "Yo, who this? Who this writing you? Why they ask you all these questions?" Man, hold up, man. He was like, "Man, get off the computer real quick." So my dad got the type into the dude. Then I just watched dude just like log out. He was like, "See?" He was like, "See, I knew it. Man, yo, you gotta watch who you talking to, man. It's a lot of weird people out here, man. You don't know what's going on." And I remember going to football practice like, yo, what just happened? But looking back, bro, I might have very well been talking to a whole pedo and didn't know. Like, this is why we need our fathers, yo. And I don't know if my father remember that, man. He in Puerto Rico right now, so he chilling. He probably asleep. But bro, I gotta ask my father if he remember that. That was a crazy memory. And it took me so long. Like that memory just stood on my mind, but it took me so long to understand what happened. Like, what was that? Yeah, Chris Hansen was the man, bro. I still go back and watch them Jones, bro. Father's definitely important. To Catch a Predator was classic. I fuck with them dudes that be on I think they got their own website now because they keep getting banned. But like they meet up with like they disguise themselves as like little girls or little boys and they meet up with predators and they just whoop their ass and they don't care about taking the assault charge. Bro, I fuck with them heavy. And I know this other dude that he do it on his own time. And like when they pull up in cars, he pop their tires and shit. Like I rock with that heavy, bro. Yeah, bro, they need it, bro. I can't even like I swear, like I'm not a bully. I don't encourage fighting. I feel like at a certain age, you know what I mean, there ain't no room to really be fighting in the streets and all that. You know what I mean? Men or women, I feel like you shouldn't even be doing that for real. Like that's unnecessary. But like pedos getting their ass whooped. Oh yeah. I'm with that. I wish I was like one of the special guests. I would love to punch one of them in their mouth. I would let that shit fly immediately. I wouldn't even say nothing to him. I would try to break everything in his face. Cause there's nothing you could say. Cause the conversations be transparent on 14. They don't be caring, bro. Like I don't respect men or women at that because people don't never talk about women being creeps too. Trust me, I know. I remember being 15, 16, working at ShopRite, and I got 30-year-old women trying to take me home with them. I remember this. Like they double my age trying to get at me. But like, you know what I mean? When it's a woman, a lot of times they don't care. Cause I mean, you a boy, ain't you supposed to like it? Like weird shit like that. But you know, bro, cause somebody, man, I got a pet conquest, bro. When you gotta come back to Earth, brother. Once you come back down to Earth, you know what I mean? Then we gonna bring you back, cause like I don't know, this motherfucker on K2 or something. Like I don't know what's up with your man. He be tripping. We over here talking about life. He's like, there's no such thing as a fairy. I'm like, bro, hold up, bro. What are you talking about? I knew that there was an alien there this whole time. I'm like, well, now what we talking about? Scorpions are dangerous. Don't touch them. Like, what? Nigga just bring up random ass points that don't make no sense. Make sure it's spring water. We don't like purifying. If I jump out the window, I'll land on my ankles. What the fuck? Like, my fish is red and my turtle is black. You guys not getting AR, you know we not. Bye. Yeah, shout out the coffee plant, bro. Shout out the coffee plant. That boy got a switch on that wrench, cuz. But anyways, man, what we talking about, man? I ain't got work tomorrow. You know what I mean? I ain't got to get up early, except well, I do got to get up early. My son be up, ready to rumble at 7:30 in the morning. He said, look at this profile pic. Let me take a look. Is that me? I don't know who that is, bro. Who is that? Ain't me. They're like some anime stuff. Wait, who you talking about look like E40? You talking about oh shit, this nigga look like E40 and Trick Daddy all in one. I got a limited amount of time, limited deals online, chasing these dollar signs, you ain't on your grind. Yeah, that's definitely E40. Got a phone with a bitch who don't do shit but make a nigga hella rich. Had to stand there out forever like the Statue of Liberty. Trick 40. Trick 40 is fucking hilarious. Yeah. You might end up domeless. Man, I hate how the way E40 rap, bro. Like, I understand, like, he a legend in the Bay and all that. I ain't got nothing wrong with that. He actually, when I watched Deon Haney fight live for the first time, he fought at the 2300 arena. He was fighting Mason Menard, right? Deon Haney fought at Philly a few times, actually. I was speaking about that with Bill when he came on the channel. Um, uh, E40 walked him out. And that was that song, Yup, Nope, Yup, Nope. And everybody in the crowd was like, yo, this shit trash. Like, who is it? Like, I'm like, damn, like E40 a legend though. Man, we don't give a fuck. That shit ass. I'm like, damn. Wasn't me. I don't go to no clubs, brother. Couldn't have to talk about me. Mark, if Manny Pac becomes a champion at 46, where does he rank all time in your opinion? I mean, that'll definitely be impressive. And, you know, Manny Pacquiao, in my opinion, is already considered an all-time great, considering the 8 divisions that he done got world titles in. You feel what I'm saying? But, you know, if he was able to, you know, if he was able to come back and become world champion at 46 years old against like a legit world champion in Mario Barrios, that's impressive, bro. That's really impressive. Like if he pack up Mario Barrios at 46 years old, when Barrios is significantly younger than him, has a WBC world title and beat somebody that actually beat Pacquiao, you got to give him his credit, bro. That's impressive. But in my honest opinion, I think that the worst thing that could happen is Manny Pacquiao winning the world title. You know why? Because some other champions gonna look at Pacquiao like fool. I don't even want to see Brian Norman hit Manny Pacquiao, bro. Huh? Oh, he was trying to flex. He got Lamont Roach Pop's number. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, dude. But apparently he know them, so that's what's up. I got plenty of boxing people number on my phone. I need to call Bomac and try to set up another interview. Cause we ain't talking damn near 2 years. How long ago was that interview? Shit, that was a hot ass minute ago. Is Johnny Beck the dude who almost unalived himself trying to make weight? I don't know if it got that far, but he was definitely dehydrated and had to pull out and fight. Yeah, that's weird. That's definitely weird. Listen to E40 when she was only 16. I'm good, brother. That don't sound like a song I need to read. Go 787 sub. You never you really never talk about John Beck. What are your thoughts on him? I think he's the best at 160. I agree with you, brother, and I actually spoke about him yesterday. I think he a beast. You see what I'm saying? But how what I was getting into was I don't think he's gonna be at 168 that much longer. Like if he's having trouble getting down to 160 to the point where he needs to be hospitalized and be given fluids and stuff like that, that's already a red flag in itself. You feel what I mean? So John Beck, he got good timing, good punching power. I think he's a legitimate threat. And to be honest with you, I think he beats Adamez. If he's healthy at 160 pounds. Um, just my personal opinion. I do think he's the best 160 out right now. But going up to 168, that'll definitely make the super middleweight division even more interesting. And I really don't talk about him, unfortunately, because he don't really have anything big going on in boxing right now. As a content creator, I try to stick to what the people care about, not necessarily what I care about. Because if I spoke about what I cared about, you know what I mean, I'll be speaking about shit that don't really catch people attention. John Beck and Canelo at 68, I wouldn't mind. I would like to see John Beck do something at 68 before he just get a Canelo Alvarez title. It just pissed me off that motherfuckers like David Benavidez did everything he could to solidify the fight at 68 to get the Canelo fight. Then you got motherfuckers moving up in weight and getting Canelo fights. And I love Terrence Crawford. You know what I mean? I fuck with Terrence Crawford heavy. But it's like, bro, how the fuck he get a shot over David Benavidez at 168? How Berlanga get a shot over Benavidez at 168? Like, shit is disgusting, bro. Jermell Charlo got a shot at 168 over David Benavidez. Like, that's disgusting to me. And I understand William Skull had a belt, but he got an opportunity over David Benavidez, bro. Crazy. Absolutely insane. Canelo picks guys he thinks he could take an advantage of. Yeah, 88, that's a fact. Canelo, and he know that too. That's why he be trying to justify it by saying, "Oh, I fought everybody. Oh, I fought Triple G. I fought Lara. I fought all the best. I fight all the best competition. So I do what I want with my career." Like he tell you, he like, bro, man, I don't fought all these dudes, man. I ain't about to be sitting here and be taking it, keep running into the smoke. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to get the biggest fights possible. He trying to get the most money possible with the lowest risk involved. That's just the type time he on. 88 Sports Talk said he know they ain't gonna turn down that payday. Nobody is. That's the thing. Like, when you bring in an amount of money to these fighters that they probably never see in their career, even if they ready, whether they ready or not, they gonna take the opportunity. You know what I mean? Like out of all the people, that's why they called it the Mayweather sweepstakes. Because if you got chosen, you know what I mean, you had to take it because it was an amount of money that you probably never see again. Now look at what Marcos Maidana did. He fought Floyd back to back and never came back. Dude ain't rumble in 11 years. I think his last fight was in 2014, bro. he tried to make a comeback. He was like, man, fuck all that. I'm done. That boy living good out there in Argentina, making them bills stretch. You're living like a king out there in Argentina. Out there living like turkey out of sheep. Rolando all iced out in every interview. Yeah, bro, that's how them New York dudes be. They flashy like that. That's their style. You feel me? I was just talking to my boy Ree about that. New York, they like to flex. What makes me an authoritative figure on the subject? What subject? Who said I was an authoritative figure? You perceive me that way. I mean, I'm sorry, my masculinity intimidates you, brother. Your last name Quirk, so I know you a weirdo. It is what it is. Damn, man, that was killing me. Smoochie said, "You going to sleep? Good night, Smoochie. Thank you for keeping them wrenches sharp while you was awake." Go 787 says Berlanga, a funny dude. When he's fighting a Mexican, he claims Puerto Rico too, then say he didn't feel the love, but against everyone else, only rep Brooklyn. That's what I'm saying. That's like you are opportunist, cuz like, and listen, I always seen Berlanga with the Puerto Rican flag and stuff like that, but I ain't seen him really being like a big pro Puerto Rican, like a full-fledged Boricua until the Canelo Alvarez fight. You know what I mean? And if that's your new thing, then fuck it, it is what it is. But I feel like a lot of people be waving that Puerto Rican flag because, you know what I mean, they be looking for somebody to back them. Like they do it for opportunistic reasons. Like I seen like Shakur. Shakur at the beginning of his career, you ain't never seen him repping Puerto Rico. Then people found out that his deadbeat daddy was a Puerto Rican and that he wore them Puerto Rican trunks for like 3, 4 fights, and then you know what I mean. He ain't Puerto Rican no more. Like I don't be understanding dudes, bro. Like if you gonna rep something, rep it. You know what I mean? Like and Shakur know that because he rep Newark. He put Newark on all his boxing trunks. That's what he rock with. Newark, Newark, Newark. That's cool. You know what I mean? But if you're gonna adopt that Puerto Rican title, do that all the way, just like how you do Newark. If not, then you just look corny, just trying to, you know what I mean? Take advantage of people. Or like, you know what I mean? You trying to come up off of something like you be bro, that's weird. That's weird shit, bro. That's weird shit to me. Belonga, and if he Puerto Rican, yeah, he Puerto Rican. Fuck it, it is what it is. But like stop acting like you like this big pro Boricua and you like he really was doing the most too. Like he was really getting on like Spanish podcasts talking about how he a legend. He a legend already. And these dudes telling him like, bro, you not no legend, bro. Like you ain't beat me. You gotta beat some fighters before we consider you a legend. Oh no, I'm a legend right now. Look how many first round knockouts I got. All right, against who? Like, all right, Tyron Brunson from Philadelphia. He had a record for the most first round knockouts too. We sitting here calling him a legend because of that? No, not at all. PA Boxing Hall of Famer for sure. But no, we not doing that, bro. We're not about to sit here and call this man a legend. Got an impressive record. Come on. Yeah, like I've never seen Belonga is the only person that I know that's been so proud to be a loser. Like I've never seen somebody so proud to be in second place. I've never seen that. Yeah, man, I stood toe to toe with Canelo. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Because when you tried to, you got put on your ass. Then you got upset because Puerto Rico wasn't wasn't cheering for you how the Mexicans was cheering with Canelo. Bro, you not on Canelo's level, and Puerto Rico never embraced you as a champ because you never was. They embraced Tito Trinidad because he went out there and got his world title and fought the best guys and came out on top in a lot of fights, except 3. And all the 3 dudes he lost to was Hall of Famers, all-time greats, Winky Wright, Roy Jones, Bernard Hopkins. Ain't no shame in losing to neither one of them dudes. Because I've seen nights where them motherfuckers look unbeatable. Roy, I seen fights with him where he looked like nobody in history could have beat him. Bernard, he done had special performances where there weren't many people that could beat him that night. Winky Wright, he gave everybody work. If you caught him on a good night, he might fry you. You feel what I'm saying? That's why they accepted Tito as like this big champion. Miguel Cotto, I wasn't the biggest fan of Miguel Cotto, but guess what? Puerto Rico loved him. You know why? Because he became a legit world champion. He got out the motherfucking mud and he beat top competition consistently. And same thing goes for Wilfred Benitez. You know, Hector Camacho, Edwin Rosario. They were embraced by people on the island because of, what they did. You want people to give you all this respect when you've never earned it. I say it all the time. We currently in an era of boxing right now where people want their stripes before they earn them. And then they get upset when people don't give them their stripes. Bro, you didn't take action. You didn't take the actions necessary to earn them stripes. So why we like you motherfuckers, like you gotta earn respect. You just want it. You gotta earn that. Ricky Hatton was terrified of Cotto, and I see why. Cotto would have packed Hatton ass up. Taylor made for Cotto, in my opinion. Taylor made for Cotto, especially at 40. Oh man, that'd have been a thorough ass whooping, in my opinion. Them body shots Ricky Hatton would have got hit with, that them hooks and listen. Ricky would have came out acting reckless with Cotto, that would have went. Shit would have got ugly. Go ahead and step to Cotto how you did Costa Zoo. Let's see what happened. On 40, Cotto was a monster. Cotto was a monster before Margarito. He definitely was. And he came back and did some damage and, won world titles after that. But like 140 Cotto, shit. Top rank 140 Miguel Cotto when he's even the Cotto that still had the hair. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Winky Wright versus Andre Ward. I got Andre Ward. Winky jab would have been a problem and all that. Got high guard. I think Andre Ward. I think Andre Ward the better fighter. I think he would have beat Winky. And I believe Ward would have been the bigger guy. I think he's the more intelligent fighter. I think Ward better than him overall. Yeah, Ricky Hatton used to maul motherfuckers, bro. I remember when I think that's like the first fight I recall watching like on pay-per-view with my pop. Like this was before like you could watch the fight on a website and stuff. Like you had to really buy the pay-per-view to see it. I remember there was a point, bro. Them UK people were so lit, bro. They were so lit that like Floyd was off balance. Like he didn't even get hit with a shot. He fell back a little bit, bro. And you could just hear the UK fans going absolutely insane. There was like a band playing in the middle of the fight, bro. And when Floyd started really chopping them up, like I'm seeing Hatton getting dropped. Like I'm seeing him get dropped and all. And the band still playing. Ricky Hatton gets knocked out. They still playing. Like, bro, them UK fans is on a different level. They rocked out for Ricky Hatton differently. They loved him in the UK, bro. Go 787 says Ricky versus Cotto would have ended like Pacquiao Hatton. I think it would have been more brutal. You know what I mean? Like Pacquiao just sparked Hatton and that was it. I think Cotto would have broke him, like really destroyed him. Yeah, I mean, there's a difference. Like when you get sparked, there ain't really like much punishment behind that. You feel what I'm saying? Pacquiao just lined him with a left hand and just put him out. Cotto would have just beat him, like beat him into pieces, bro. Pause. Like he would have just really fried him. That's what I think. Yeah, Floyd had him look stupid off that check hook, bro. He definitely had him looking stupid. His head hit the turnbuckle. He fell all over. Yeah, he was like Floyd definitely was tripping. Hatton was done, yeah. There was a lot of people that was rooting for Hatton too, bro. Like I remember growing up and they were saying how like Hatton pressure was gonna break Floyd and all this crazy stuff. Me being young, bro, because I don't know how old I was. I was like, how old was I? Oh, so Ricky Hatton, Floyd, they rumbled each other in 2007. So I was 9, right? 2007, I was 9, right? Yeah. Yeah, I was 9 years old. No, I was 8 years old actually. No, 9. 9 about to be 10. And I remember my dad used to be talking boxing with people and they were saying that Hatton was gonna break Floyd and Floyd not gonna be able to keep up, like keep Hatton up off him, the pressure. That was a bad job, bro. Let me see. Go 787 said I could see that Mazuma. I heard Mayorga in an interview say Cotto hits harder than Tito with both hands, and that they felt like bricks, even the jab. You know what I think it was, bro? Like when he fought Tito, he still had some like punch resistance about him. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Maybe Cotto did hit harder than Tito. I don't know. I never fought neither one of them. I never been hit by neither one of them, so I'll never know. But I think that when Tito beat Mayorga, he had more punch resistance. He had a better ability because as you get older, your punch resistance dies down. You know what I mean? It decreases. Like you're not taking a punch at 80, or you're not taking a hard punch at 50 the same way you take it at 20. You know what I'm saying? So I personally believe that when Tito fought Mayorga, that was a younger, fresher Mayorga who had better punch resistance. And by the time Cotto had gone around to him, he was already damaged goods. You feel what I mean? But either way, they both cracking. They both cracking for real, for real. Now, I seen Tito sleep dudes with both hands. So he definitely was punching. I seen Cotto put people out to the body and the head. So, well, they both could crack. So that's Puerto Ricans for you. A lot of Puerto Ricans can punch. Yo, did anybody see the John Bowser fight versus Omar Rosario? Did you see that when they was in the ring, somebody threw a chair in the ring? Somebody got so mad that John Bowser was getting cooked. So they went ahead and threw a chair in the ring. I said, bro, only in Puerto Rico that shit happens. Puerto Rico out of pocket. This dude a whole loser. I ain't even want to say nothing. Oh, you said pull up the clip. I'm streaming through my phone right now, so I can't even show you that. But I seen it. My dad had sent it to me on Facebook. I was so confused. Man, shout out to Omar Rosario, by the way. You know what I mean? He one of my autographed gloves over there, man. You know, good fighter out of Puerto Rico, you know what I mean? He used to be signed with Ty Ring, but after he had that close controversial loss, Ty Ring released him, so he would just been getting it out the mud since then. You feel what I'm saying? Uh I thought he had like a close loss to that one kid. What's his name? That kid, Elijah Flores. You know what I mean? Like it was a unanimous decision, but I watched it and I was like, I don't know, that shit looked a little closer than you know what I mean. People made it seem, and he moved up in weight for that fight. But you know, he been fighting in Puerto Rico since then. He just beat John Bowser. John Bowser was somebody who lost to Richardson Hitchens and shit. Hitchens dropped him and all types of shit. Man, shut your I'm trying not to curse, boy. What you talking about? Shorty, what is you talking about? No. Hold on. Let me unhide this person. Yo, Florida boy, whatever the hell your name is, you got a fat white woman as your profile pic. I hope that ain't your girl. I hope that ain't your girl, cuz. That picture just giving hella mayonnaise and your forehead done wide, eyebrows thin as a motherfucker, glasses just dangling off your little ass nose. You covering them bony ass lips you got with your inferior genetics. Hope you need to just go ahead about your business. Bruce Wayne said, "Do you do song requests? I know your mother do throat requests. I don't know nothing about song requests though. You have a good night." I hope it ain't no fat hoe on my I hope it ain't no fat hoe on my live trying to talk crazy. You know what I mean? The last thing you could do talking crazy to Mazuma TV is be a fat hoe. That's all I know. Better go take your swollen body ass somewhere. You know, pre-diabetic asshole gonna tell me anything. You better go find a way to touch your toes before you start talking crazy to me. Shit. Ain't no fat hoe that struggle to get up out the bed gonna talk crazy to me. If you need assistance putting your shoes on, you better go worry about that. You talking crazy to me, cuz. Fuck out of here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pack your dumb ass up. Stupid. I'll be trying not to get my shit demonetized, bro, but it's hard. Super weird. Shout out to the 25 people in the building. Salute. What we talking about, y'all? We got any questions? What we talking about, man? It could be about boxing. It could be about real life. You know what I mean? Y'all keep them wrenches sharp. They drawn. The trolls, I think this is the new norm though, man. Like these, especially since my channel got to a certain amount of viewership and stuff like that, bro. Like the trolls just been active. I remember like one, like probably like once a month they'll try to draw. Go 787. You type one? You type one diabetic? Shout out to my type 1 diabetics out there, man. I had a professional fighter by the name of Rashid Johnson. Type 1 diabetic. You feel me? Yo, Ralph tripping. I fuck with Ralph, bro. He funny as hell. But yeah, I had a pro boxer, type 1 diabetic, Rashid Johnson, bro. I mean, I got a good understanding of the type 1 and how the way it works, man, because I used to monitor like his his levels and stuff while he trained. And I mean, I made sure that he had his insulin, made sure that when his sugar was too you was you type 2. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Okay, because you said you had it since you were 6, I'm assuming you had juvenile diabetes, aka type 1. You feel what I'm saying? So I think Rashid got diagnosed with type 1 when he was 9 years old or something like that. Yeah, I mean, so uh, tripping. Smack. Shout out to Coffee Plant. Yeah, bro. Type 1 ain't no joke. Trust me, I done like crazy, bro. Crazy. Shout out to my people in the chat that's battling something, you know what I mean? Illnesses, diseases, you know what I mean? God damn, coffee. Motherfucker like like prime Clay Thompson. Drunk. My boy on his game. On a hot streak today. Yo, J Cash. Yo, J Cash need God, bro. You definitely need God, brother. Definitely prime Clay. He said Ray Allen. Yeah. Facts. Miami Heat. Game 7 Ray Allen, for sure. But if we ain't got nothing else to talk about, man, we could just go ahead and call it a night. You feel what I mean? Any more questions for your boy? Any more questions for your boy? Mm-hmm. My boy Coffee Plant like Sean Livingston from mid range. Mm-hmm. But all right, y'all. I guess we calling it raps. Thomas Hill. What Thomas Hill is this? Ain't there a pro boxer by the name of Thomas Hill? Or there's somebody else? Oh, all right, never mind. Shout out to Thomas Hill though. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate everybody that came through and showed love to the channel, man. I mean, if y'all can hit the like, hit the subscribe button, that'd be very much appreciated. I'll be back at y'all with another live tomorrow night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're gonna continue to push the boxing culture forward and speak about, what's currently going on in the boxing world. You feel what I mean? Hold on. We got somebody. Hold on. Wait. Read Laquan. What Laquan say? I don't see it. I don't see Laquan's comment, brother. What he say? Not the one that was affiliated with Earl Spence. Yeah, that's what I thought. But salute regardless, brother. Um, Reed Laquan. What did he say? My fault. I can't see it. Let me see if he on here. Oh, okay. Laquan Edwards said, "How long you been doing this shit? What's your backstory? I definitely hit that subscribe. You know your shit. Never heard of you before. Well, never heard of you before tonight. Salute to Laquan Edwards. That's a valid question. I got no problem answering that for new subscribers. For everybody who's been in here, you already know what it is. I've been in boxing essentially my whole life. I stood around the sport with my father, who was a fighter as well. He came up in Philadelphia. Started taking boxing serious from my pre-teenage years. You know what I mean? It did pretty well for the short amount of time that I was boxing, but unfortunately, as everybody knows, I got diagnosed with a chronic illness known as ulcerative colitis. It's a chronic illness that is incurable at the moment. Hopefully, with the technology we have, you know, I could be, you know, permanently taken away from this chronic illness. But regardless, as a result of that, you know what I mean, I was no longer able to compete. So I transitioned from, you know, being a boxer to being a coach. You know what I mean, helping my dad manage and coach, you know, professional and amateur boxers. We have our own gym called Pivot Boxing Academy in the neighborhood I grew up in North Philly. And you know, since then, you know, I started off just being like a guest on people's channels, just talking boxing and stuff like that. I've always had a YouTube channel. If you look back at my oldest videos, it was back when I was like 18, 19 years old. So I always been a part of the boxing community, but I didn't really start taking it serious till a couple years ago. I think it was like a little bit before my son was born, I guess you would say. And he's 2 right now, so I've been, you know, consistent for like 2 years now. And you know, I was always told that I should get back into talking boxing and stuff like that because a lot of people appreciated my takes and, you know, liked my point of view and how the way I broke down boxing. So, you know, I'm here and we've been on here since then. You feel what I mean? Yeah, I'm a small channel, so of course I'm not really surprised that people don't know who I am. But you know, we getting there, man. We definitely getting there, and I'm gonna get my recognition just like everybody else. I just gotta take a different approach. You know what I mean? We ain't getting cosigns from no big channels, and we not, you know what I mean, doing interviews with channels, and you know what I mean. We not doing none of that. You feel what I mean? We doing this shit our own way. You know what I mean? Like Allen Iverson said. Shout out to my former Philadelphia, the Philly legend, Allen Iverson. He said, "Man, when it's all said and done." I want to look myself in the mirror and say I did it my way. You feel what I mean? And that's the same exact approach I'm gonna take. But you know what I mean? We building brick by brick every day. Every day we getting somewhere. You feel me? Fucking gnats out this motherfucker. Um, and shit, it's working. You feel what I mean? Even if it take a little longer, we still gonna get there, man. Sometimes you gotta get the, you know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta take the back road. You know what I mean? Thomas Hill said you do the real and you can't fake that ish and can't copyright that ish neither. No, that's a fact. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you, man. But you know, I don't never mind. You know, I'm an open book. You feel what I mean? So I ain't got no problem speaking about my backstory or where I came from. But you know what I mean? Definitely ain't no culture vulture. You feel what I mean? Motherfuckers ain't just coming into boxing because niggas ain't have shit else to do. Nah, we grew up in boxing. We've been studying boxing. You know what I mean? And we just, we here to push the culture forward. Not really here for y'all money or nothing, bro. If I was doing it for the money, I'd have been left YouTube alone because YouTube don't pay that well. So, yeah, that's pretty much my story. You feel me? But I'm going to get up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody that came through and showed love as always. If y'all can hit the like button, you know what I mean? Subscribe to the channel, share the video. That'll be very much appreciated, man. Like I said, we on the road to 4K and we well into the 3K mark. Y'all have a blessed, beautiful one. I'm up out of here, man. Peace.